So you're going to know a bit about turbo containers, but not all you need to know. And I'm Claudio Obata, because Kenji Obata is the CEO of Turbo, and he's the guy that forced me to do this presentation here. So I changed my name to Claudio Obata. So, you know, fuck you, Alex. Now I'm my grandfather too. Thank you to all the other nice grandfathers, not to Alex. So whatever, you know, I have been doing this for a long time. No one cares.
You only have 25 minutes.
Exactly. So let's skip the bullshit and go to the agenda. So the idea is, I will show you what turbo containers is, if you're not familiar. I'll talk about a little bit of the differences between Turbo and Docker, because some people, they're all like Docker fanboys, like Sasha right there.
I'm not fanboy of technology.
No, you are.
I'm really not.
You are.
As a such, but not on special one.
No, you're a fanboy. Then I'll show you some use cases that are pretty cool. And show you some examples. And on the presentation, like Kenji didn't do that in Las Vegas. He was just going through the demos. But I think there are a lot of commands that are important that you know. And there are not like many, so I put everything into the PowerPoint. So if you download the presentation later, at least you have the list of the most common commands and the ones that you get to going immediately.
He talks shit.
So if you know like a handful of commands, you're going to be able to do everything you are going to say to them. And of course some demos.
That was Carmen.
If we have time, I think we have time, and then some questions that probably we have no time for the questions. Don't ask anything. If you want to eat Thai again, we have, as I said, 20 minutes. Anyhow. So basically, Turbo, container for Windows, and that's one of the differences right there between Docker and Turbo. Turbo actually can run server applications. I'll try to show you. I have SQL Server running under Turbo, but can also run regular desktop applications. Okay, that's a main difference right there. So yes, I can run SQL Server. The thing is, they don't recommend you running server apps right now because they really optimize the product to run desktop apps. But again, doesn't mean you cannot run. Like I know lots of developers. Oh yeah, sure. I know lots of developers running on Turbo. So again, just don't take it to production, and you are gonna be fine. Unless you are brave.
It's on.
Okay, so we should be good. So again, avoid server applications, okay? And unlike Docker, that's the other thing, under Windows, Turbo has no ties to any version of Windows. So that's a big one right there. So if you have Windows Server 2003 and you want to run Turbo in 2003, it works in 2003. Okay, not saying you should use 2003, but That said, I actually deployed, I was in Hawaii 2 weeks ago doing an RDS deployment, and I had to deploy one terminal server running 2003 because of one stupid application. But what can you do? People pay you, they want a Windows Server 2003, okay, I'll do it. I'll do anything for money. Almost anything. If you are having ideas and want to pay me, think twice. And they have been, they have been on the market for a long time, but they were known before as Spoon. If you've heard of Spoon, that's basically Turbo. Turbo is the next generation of the Spoon VM. That's the bottom line. And again, it's a single kernel product, so it's, in a ways you can think like about the parallels, Virtuoso. It shares the same kernel, but there is isolation at several other levels on top of that. So it doesn't require a full instance like a virtual machine, for example. And transient layers, this is pretty cool. This basically means you can use something on your package just to create the package, Like for example, you can do like a Python and wget and everything to get everything down. But when the package is created, that subset is not there on the package. So you just use that to create the package, but it doesn't end up on the package itself. So that's pretty cool stuff. And they have everything like the scripts to create packages, like everything is open source, it's all on GitHub, so it's pretty cool in terms of if you don't know something, you can get the information and you can see what other people did. URL redirector, that's a pretty cool one as well. You can do, for example, you have a browser and you pull a package down, let's say with Chrome, and you set that package to handle facebook.com. So when someone goes into IE and they type facebook.com, with the plugin, they are redirected to the Turbo container that has Chrome with Facebook. So they don't run these websites actually on their browser. They run on an isolated container. So something very interesting. And it's light overhead. You know, there's an overhead as any other Docker container solution type, but it's minimal. So some use cases, okay? Well, first one is pretty obvious. If you did FTP or FinApp or whatever, that applies here. You can create your packages, isolation between packages. You can link packages like FTP with the DSC, so same idea applies. But that's the first obvious use case. Siloing, you know, here's an app, silos and all that stuff, so you don't need that. Having all your apps with you, that's another cool one, because it's based on an online repository. It can be offline, I'll mention that. You can have on premises if you want. Just requires more components. You need a turbo server, you can do AD authentication and all that. But if you are using the online product, the cloud-based product, I can actually log on to my account, select the packages I want, and they are on my PC, for example. They are pulled down to the PC. If I go to another machine, I can bring everything down, and when I'm done on that machine, I run a command and everything disappears from that PC. So it's kind of like a follow me apps. What is interesting, doesn't matter the device, as I said. And it's a much quicker time to value, for customers, because the repository already has like hundreds of applications and something quite useful, and you're gonna see why. And as I said, you can be up and running in a matter of minutes and having the packages up and running in a matter of minutes. So very different from FTP and other solutions in that respect. So way simpler packaging. I'll show you the packaging. It's pretty much like ridiculous. If you work with FTP, I don't know how many work with FTP here. Yeah, packaging under FTP it is sort of a pain in the butt. And when you are done with the packaging, then you have to move the package somewhere, and if you have a management infrastructure in place, you know the deal. It's a problem. Here, no. So, much easier to deploy, much easier everything, really. Okay? Everything is so much easier. And it can do some stuff that FTP can't do. What I really like. Some of this stuff is pretty powerful. So some examples from the real world. The damn bullshit with the Netscaler. How many of you are running Netscaler 11 and only 11? See? Just a few crazy people. But lots of people are probably still dealing like myself. I have to deal with customers on 9, on 10 early releases or 10 later releases, and everyone has a different requirement. Some they got rid of the Java, some they didn't, some they did a half-assed job, so it is a major pain in the butt. So with this guy here, you can actually tell Turbo, okay, I want to create a package that has this one version of Java, that has this one version of whatever, and it's on this browser. And boom, the package is done for you, like immediately. The other nice thing that you can do here that you cannot do with any other product, two things. The first one is, I can tell the package you are only allowed to talk to the Netscaler IP. You can't go and talk to anyone else. So even though you gave the package to the person and he opens the package, if he tries to type any other IP or FQDN or whatever it is, the package goes nowhere. If you type the Netscaler IP that you allow it, they see the Netscaler GUI and they can log on. So that's a pretty powerful one. And as I said, if you use the URL redirector, you can even force their local browsers to call the package. If they forget and they go on IE and they type whatever, Turbo is going to intercept and say, wait, you are going there, I have a redirection rule enabled, I'm going to send you to this package that only allows you to go to the Netscaler. So very, very different in that respect from any other solution like FTP. Okay? So as I said, Java browser combo, Java browser Flash combos, whatever you want to do.
Also IE?
Also IE. Don't ask me how they do that with IE, and don't ask me if it's even legal to do that with IE, because I'm not a lawyer, but you know, at the end of the day, I don't give a shit. So it works with IE. I can show IE running. IE, I may need to start the VM right now for IE. I don't know what is happening with IE8, but it takes a long time for IE8 to load, okay? It could be the fact I'm running a VM, and inside the VM a turbo container, you know, like Inception shit. So that could be the problem. I didn't want to touch my real laptop. Not that I don't trust turbo, you know. I just don't want any packages on my laptop. That's the problem. Conflicting apps, web apps. So that basically the use case, and simplifying base build, you know, automation of base builds. Two things they did, for example, one I was helping them, it's there is now integration with the remote apps on RDS. So you can pull down all the packages that you want to have in your RDS, and then they show up as remote apps into the RDS collection. So that's pretty cool. And they did the same thing for Citrix. So you can bring down the packages, and they show up, you know, on your Citrix infrastructure assigned to like a delivery group and so on. So it's interesting. Network blocking, as I said, I can tell the package you can go here, you cannot go anywhere else. And they actually have some rules they created. For example, right from the repository, I can get a rule that doesn't allow any social media. So that was relatively easy, you know, like the Twitter, the Facebooks and stuff like that. And they have another rule that's pretty cool. It's a rule for porn. So you run this rule and you can't go to any porn, you know, sites. It's a bad rule, but the point is, the reason for that, they created that rule because you can imagine how many porn sites there is, right? Just in Germany, they have like 3,300,000, just in Germany. Right, Ben?
How would I know?
Oh, well, you and your
Never go to German porn sites.
That's how you test the NVIDIA.
Don't tell anybody.
So they did that because there are so many. They had to stress test the basically the filtering engine. So they actually created a rule with these like millions of sites to see if it would work and not crash the whole, you know, world. And everything worked. So pretty cool stuff out of the box. I'm not gonna go through all the commands, but as I said, it's all here for you. So you're gonna see them running. There's just, you know, like 300 commands. That's all you need to know. But, well, it's actually pretty easy, okay? The idea is you always go to the command prompt, you call turbo, and then if you are creating a new package, you do turbo new and the name of the package that is on the repository. What happens then is like this. If the package has never been used, it has to pull down from the repository, and then it caches locally. So after I have that local cache, every time I do a turbo new and that name, I get a new container that is based on that package. So I can do like a turbo new Firefox, and now I have an instance of Firefox running. If I then do another turbo new Firefox, it's now a separate instance of Firefox on a separate container, okay? But then it doesn't have to pull anything down. So that's basically how you create the containers.
So Claudia, is there a GUI as well?
There is a GUI for other things, not for this. This is all command line based. And I know some people are going to ask, and what about PowerShell? There is no PowerShell. There is some shitty PowerShell, but Kenji, of course, he wouldn't say that, but I'm saying that. And they are working on getting it better. Okay, they will have a proper PowerShell implementation. It's not there now. But here you can see another command, for example. This is a command that blocks everything. If I do this, create a new Firefox and block everything. It means, oh great, I can run Firefox, but I can't go anywhere. So this is pretty useless. And then there is an even more useless command. You create a Firefox and you allow people to go to the E2E website. I don't know what is worse, having no website or E2E website. Probably this one is worse. So you pick which one you want, but that's one example. So here, if I force this, that's all the browser is going to do. This, as I said, this one blocks social media completely. So I create a new container, Firefox shows up. If I try Twitter, it doesn't go. If I try Facebook, it doesn't go.
Who's maintaining the list of social media? Is that dynamic?
I'm not sure if it's dynamic. I think it's right on their repository, so they maintain. And I don't know how often it's updated. And the other thing, it's good that you mentioned that. The other thing that I told Kenji a couple weeks ago, I like the solution, it's extremely powerful, but one thing that is critical is maintaining these packages and making sure the packages work. Because I had one experience with one particular package that I tried on RDS, and the package would not run, would throw an error message. And then I'm like, okay, probably it's RDS. And I tried on a PC, regular Windows Desktop OS, and I got the same error. So in that respect, there has to be some sort of a quality control to guarantee that packages on the repository, on the online one at least, are good to go. But again, my experience, I would say probably 95% of the packages that I tried, they all worked off the bat, no issues whatsoever. Okay, but just something to keep in mind. And again, we're just talking about the online stuff. You can have on premises, and then you go crazy. You do your own packages. So it's just the online one that they have to better control. Yours, of course, you're going to be controlling that. So what else? This is just the command, as I said. When you go online and you create your application list, let's say, you go to a new PC that has the turbo. There is a plugin. There is a client component, like that. You install this client, then you issue a turbo subscribe. It's going to ask you your credentials. They have API keys as well. If you want to automate, you don't need to enter your username and password. You can get an API key, and then you can script just by passing the API key. So establishes the connection, and then you subscribe, pulls everything down, creates start menu shortcuts, all that. And then once you are done, you do an unsubscribe, everything vanishes from the PC. Okay. Turbo container shows what is running. What is there, not necessarily running. Turbo images shows me what I pulled down from the repository that is right there, ready to go for me to create new containers. So before I do demos, shit happens. So if shit happens, shit happens. Okay? Just keep that in mind.
Claudio,
Yeah.
For example, Firefox. When a new version of Firefox is released, etc.,
They take care. If you are talking to the online repository, what they do is when you just pull Firefox, just with the name get me Firefox, always pulls the latest.
Okay.
If you want to do a specific version of Firefox, all you do is you do like a turbo new Firefox column, the version number.
After 2 months, Firefox has a new version. Is there a mechanism to automatically update, or
it's then automatically for you? what happens is once you install the plugin, if you go into your task scheduler on the machine, you're going to see a scheduled task that runs every day and brings everything down, all the latest and greatest. Okay? Can you disable that? You can. It's up to you if you want to run the latest and greatest. Okay?
Shit just happened or?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the same like Thomas.
Yeah, we never learn, you know.
How big is your lab?
You don't want to ask.
Please, on every session, tell people how big is your lab.
How can anybody talk about his lab again after Thomas's session?
Are you on top of your lab?
Okay, it's here now. Okay, so that's good. So let's take a look at what do I have as images, okay? So this is what I pulled from the repository. So as you can see, I have a bunch of different images. Like JRE, for example, the Java stuff, I have a 626, I have 751, I have an 891 here, that is, I think, the latest. Then I have Firefox, the latest, 47. I have, several apps that I brought down. IE8, as you asked, if IE works, IE8 is right here. And I even have SQL Server 2014, 2012. So basically what happens is, if you want to create a new one, let's say Firefox, I can just go here on the command and say, okay, turbo, and then new, and then I go Firefox. So it's going to create a new one, as everything is local, you see it's pulling from local, and Firefox is going to launch, hopefully, if shit doesn't happen again. So there it is, Firefox, okay? And it's a container, so if I go here and set a home page, and then I close, and I do another turbo new Firefox, it's now a new container, so I will have no home page set, okay? But now let's say,
All cookies and all desktop station container.
yes, you can interact with like user folders. So if you want to save stuff to the user folders, it's there. And if you want to do stuff with the host, there are ways to mount host folders into the container as well.
When you create a new and you close it, where is it then gone or?
Yes, well, when you close the container, if I close Firefox now, and then I do a turbo containers, I'm going to see my container there, but in a stopped state. But the containers is still there. Unless I do a turbo RM, like, or RMD, or like remove the container, it will remain there.
Would be great to do UVM on top of.
Yeah, and it should work.
And when it's running, can you see it from the machine? No.
No. Like, you mean as a process like Firefox?
Yeah.
No, you see a turbo process running.
Yeah, okay. That turbo is isolation layer.
Oh, yeah.
As a Docker is
Oh, yeah.
isolation layer. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So here, as you can see, no add-ons, right? So now I'm going to close this guy here. So close. And as I said, if I go here and I tell the engine, show me my turbo containers. You can see right there, like there is a Firefox.
We can start. We
Right.
believe it.
Okay, so now I can, if I want to kill, I just pass either the name or I pass the ID and it removes my container. So if I do a turbo RM and then Firefox, it's going to get rid of my container. So it's now gone, okay? And now I'm going to do another turbo, but now I'll do things differently. I'll do a turbo new, and then I will do GRE. Let's say I go with the latest, so I don't have to pass anything, and then I do Firefox. So now it's creating another container. You can see the container ID here. It's now different. Firefox is going to launch. The difference is now I have the Java engine loaded into Firefox.
But the Java package you created earlier, right?
I pulled it down earlier. I didn't create, I just brought it from the repository.
But is it a container or is it factory?
It is another container.
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah. But now when I created this container, this new one, I created based on the other, images.
Is
That's what it
But
is.
did you create it earlier or did you trust someone to
I
create
pulled it, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So normally you would create it by yourself.
If you want to, yes. So here you have Java now. Okay? And now let's say I go here, I close this, I set a web page.
What is a web page?
So, well, it's a useless web page. Made front page. But it's one that has no clue and taste on design, as you can see. It's like crap.
Is there Java inside the website?
Yes, probably.
Like some ghetto websites. So now I have my E2E here. I'll go here, for example, under options, and I'll use the current page. I want people to suffer. Okay? So now I just closed that container, so now the container is not running. If I now launch that particular container, so same ID for the container. Same ID or it's a new one? No, could be a new one. Yeah, it's a new one. So I have to get the ID and pass the ID. Let me add it to-
But it's agentless, right?
What?
You need an agent.
You need an agent.
You need an
Yeah, yeah. There's a plugin, they call it the Turbo plugin. You go to the site, download the plugin. It's actually small.
But you don't need Hyper-V or...
A plugin for the redirect of
No,
websites, but
they name their agents. It's not like, the FTP client.
Yeah.
FTP names it client, they name it plugin.
Okay.
I know it's not the best thing because people get confused between a web browser plugin and their plugin, but that's the name, okay? So you just think as a client. You go and download the client.
But this, how it works, is more similar to Hyper-V or it's more similar to Docker?
I would say it is, it's kind of in the middle between both, But what I like is it gets the best of both in ways, you know what I mean? It has all the flexibility of FTP in terms of being easy to create, well, not that FTP is easy, but once you get used to it, it's not horrible. So this is easier than FTP and allows me to tackle all my user applications, so that's great. But then it has many of the features that you see on Docker. I can do server app, I can do the network blocking, I can do so many things that I cannot do it with FTP. So for me, it's like they are taking the best of both and combining into a single product. So Turbo containers, let's see which is running. Okay, so everything is stopped here. So which one is the one that we want to kill? Or the one that we want to run? It's the 6E. Because it's trying to run it backward. It's not Turbo run, it's well, let me show you another thing, okay? Don't know why it's not running. Now we have that package that we got the Java and we set the home page, right? So you can now, for example, you can commit that package. So basically, you've downloaded all these images, you created a new package the way you want it, combining all these images, Java, whatever, and then you customize it, the software, like Firefox, we set a home page, and now you actually want to create a new image of that one you just created, where you combined everything and you configured it the way you want it. And why would you do that? Well, again, to create a single package that has everything the way you want. And then you create new containers of that new customized image. So here, if I go here and I do a turbo commit, and then I get the package ID, so the ID we want is the 8FE 8BB6E, and then you need you give it a name. So let's say I give the name Alex.
Will that work?
I know it's a terrible name, but it should work. So now I have a new image that is called Alex. So if I want to create containers that are based on that new image that has the Java, that has the web page set and everything, I just do a turbo new Alex, and then it shows up. And
Scary.
Scary.
yeah, scary shit.
Playing around.
If you ask his wife, she's gonna say it doesn't run that well. If we go here, turbo new Alex.
This recording never will make YouTube.
He's not definitely turbo. It's like a 1 liter diesel engine at the most. So you see now I have a package that has the home page set, and if we go to the add-ons, it should have the Java because that's what we had on the factory. Add-ons. So we have the Java right there. And then once you are happy with that, you can actually do a turbo push. So I can now push that package into the online repository. So it's going to show up on your turbo account in the cloud. And well, let's try that.
They don't do that.
I want to spread shit worldwide. That's why I want to do this. So let's see what happens when we push Alex.
Over the edge.
Let's see how fast Alex is. 0%. See? That's Alex. Not my fault. It's Alex's fault. Well, if this works, assuming that we have Wi-Fi. Yeah, we have Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's actually working. How many megs is Alex? 343 megs. Fat bastard. 97%.
Stuff's always a 99.
Yeah, he'll probably fail when he gets to 99%. No, it worked. So now if I go into my Google account, okay, you can see here my repositories. Can you see here? I had this one package, this one image, E2E Firefox, but now I push an Alex. If I go refresh here, now Alex, the latest, is
It's not the greatest, no.
it's not the greatest, it's the latest. It's still shitty Alex, but it's the latest shitty Alex. So that, that's one of the things, now that it's here, it's on the online repository, you can pull that down to any device. So as you can see, it's pretty powerful technology. And there's some of the commands, as I said, like network blocking and combining different pieces to address a particular need for a web app, for a NetScaler, for us, Citrix admins. It's quite a great solution, actually.
What about applications like Office that need licensing things like that? How they handle that?
How they handle?
Yeah. You know, any licensing requirements for bigger apps?
Well, they don't, if you have the Turbo server, okay, as I said, yes, the on-premise, Turbo server can track down licenses and everything like that. But this particular online in the cloud repository, they don't do anything like that. Okay? Even like AD with the Turbo server, you can actually do tie like everything to AD groups, for example. You cannot do here. So again, it gets down to the requirements. In some places you're gonna, I want to have everything on site. I don't want anything to the cloud. My service can't talk to anything else. So okay, fine. You go there and you do it. Okay, do everything on site. It's fucking Alex.